All right, people, things are happening rapid fire now. It is just after 2 p.m., and the Seahawks have decided to take their swings a little bit earlier than they usually do during the early part of free agency, and they've made themselves a pair of outside signings. So we don't know the money yet. We don't know the contracts yet. So there's a lot we don't know. As of this moment, I'm looking at my X feed. I'm looking at all the Seattle beat reporters. Nobody said anything about a contract amount or length yet. So I'm not going to comment on that stuff. We'll get that information later and then I'll comment on it. I don't even know if we're going to lose compensatory picks for this because I don't think we lose for Jenkins because he was cut, but we could for Fant, but I'm not going to comment on that until we know the money because that's going to affect whether or not the compensatory picks are affected. But the Seattle Seahawks have made two signings in like the last 10 minutes here. We've got Rayshawn Jenkins, the safety, most recently of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we visited with a few days before free agency start. Then he visited with like the Niners and Packers. Ultimately lands here in Seattle. 30-year-old safety. Been pretty solid over the last couple years. Not extraordinary. Not anything over the top special. And at his age, he is probably capped out. He's not going to become some all-pro all of a sudden. But he is a pretty solid, effective veteran that is capable of starting in this league and putting together good reps in this league. So we have another starting safety. For the moment, anyway, he's a starting safety and probably will be unless we land somebody like Tyler Nubbin. And we also signed our second signing in the last 10 minutes, which came right after Jenkins, George Fant. George Fant, you guys may remember him because he used to be a Seattle Seahawk before he went to the New York Jets, then the Houston Texans. Swing tackle. Guy can play some right tackle, guy can play some left tackle. When he was here, I always felt like he was actually a little better at left tackle than right tackle, but he can play both. He's played both over the last couple years. He even plays a little bit of tight end. I don't know if you guys remember that, but we actually threw him a pass or two in I think it was 2019. I think he caught a couple passes. So I don't know if we'll see much of that, but he now provides offensive line depth for Abraham Lucas, namely, while also at the same time providing options at left tackle if things get really bad over there. So I like this one. I really like the George Fant signing. That was something that I wanted to do before free agency started. He was one of the things I listed in my video. I wanted to bring in Fant for tackle depth because I needed a veteran that I felt good about. I didn't want someone like Kurhan. I didn't want a rookie who I had no idea if he was going to be ready. I felt like because of the situation with Lucas, we needed something stable there, and Fant is that, while also providing depth at other positions. So I think that that one's great. Jenkins, I admittedly know a little bit less about, but it's really going to depend for me on the money because I'm looking at what these other safeties are getting. Like a guy like Kevin Byard got $7.5 million over 2 years. If Jenkins gets around there, that's going to perturb me a little bit because I don't think Jenkins is anywhere near as good as Kevin Byard even now. I'm going to look at what some of these other safeties got in free agency, like CJ Gardner Johnson got, what was it, like 11 million a year. I'm going to take a look at other safeties and just try to compare because there were safeties that went for pretty reasonable costs. Even earlier today, we had Jordan Whitehead go for 2 years, 10.5. So if Jordan Whitehead slips through at about 5.2 million, 5.3 million a year, I think Jenkins should probably be less than that. So that's kind of my point of scrutiny here, but the player seems pretty good. Not spectacular, but he's going to hold down the fort until we can address the position long term. Some people are saying that Jenkins got 3 years, 9 million, which would be really good. I think that if it's 3 years, 9 million, that's very agreeable and totally fine. A little more long term than I would like, but who cares? At 3 years, 9 million, you could be a backup and it's totally fine. Like paying a backup safety that amount is copacetic with me. And Fant, again, I want to see the money, but I like the concept of the signing. I thought we were going to have to give him like 3 million. Hopefully it's around there. And yeah, free agency is bumping along and moving. We're filling out the roster. We're filling out some depth here. I feel a little bit better now than I did before. Still want to learn about these contracts, but the roster is being clearly filled out. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming when more things happen or we get more information. But for right now, Seahawks signed veteran safety Rayshawn Jenkins. As of right now, slotted to be a starter with Julian Love. And they sign swing tackle George Fant, currently slotted to be a backup behind Abe Lucas, which we needed. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.